there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Chloe Taylor, and on this channel, I believe that we have the most fall-esque, most autumnal, cozy corner of the internet. So if you like the way that I read, you like my style, you like how we do things here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and become a member of the Pumpkin Patch. We put out new stuff every single week. And today's reading, we're going to be focusing basically on, are you on the right path right now, and what doors and opportunities are opening up for you? So that's the intention that we're coming into this reading with. I also have Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron being channeled in for this reading as well, which is really exciting. They both stepped forward and wanted to work on this reading, so I'm very excited to see what we channel through today. Before we jump into the reading and meditating with the cards, I do want to remind those of you that do not know or have been considering that I do have a Patreon that is open now, and we put out weekly energy readings. You get early access to all of these readings here on YouTube before they go live on YouTube, sometimes up to a week early, depending on how ahead of schedule I am, which I imagine going into the winter months will be more so than not, as I have a lot more free time now. We also have printables, bonus content, and exclusive pick-a-cards that you can't get anywhere else. So if you'd like to support my work or my channel in that way, it is greatly appreciated. We have a very tight-knit, close community over there. The link is going to be down below for you, and I would love to have you. Now, with this reading, like I said, we're channeling in Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, and we are just going to be looking at your current path, if it's the right one, and really what new things are coming in, and what doors of opportunity are being opened, and possibly what doors are being closed if that comes up. So for pile number one, we have this kind of brownish yellow door card. For pile number two, we have this almost like it's like a deep brown door with some orange tones around the arch of it. And I also want to note that the paint around the top and this side is different from the paint on this side. So that might be something intuitive for y'all to pick up on. And pile number three has this beautiful, like, blue door that reminds me of like London or something in Europe. I don't know why, but beautiful architecture. Each of these correspond to a pile. You can use the imagery, you can use your intuition, you can use the timestamps to choose. The most important thing to know is that you are never going to choose wrong. Some people like to watch the entire video and then decide at the end which reading corresponded to them the most. Some people like to pick more than one, which is absolutely okay. If you feel drawn to more than one door, pick two. And if it's just one, go with the one. It's totally up to you. Just trust yourself, trust your intuition. And I'm going to go ahead and turn up some meditation music for about a minute or so, give you some time with the cards. If you need more time than that, feel free to pause the video before you choose from the timestamps which pile. All right, pile number one, surprise. We are doing intention candles with this reading. I didn't want to set them out with the cards because I didn't want people to choose based off of the candle. I really wanted the doors to be the thing that you gravitated towards, and whatever candle came with that would be the one that would be your gravitational pull in the candle that you needed. So if you're new to intention candles, allow me just to go through it with you. So basically this candle, it is a yellow candle. It is a representation of sunlight, of Leo energy. I would say Leo definitely is like your yellows and oranges, which is very like heart-centered confidence. Yellow also just kind of brings like happiness, joy, really anywhere that you feel like your solar plexus or like personal power has needed a boost. That's really what this candle is for. You can set any intention you want. You do not have to go with those suggestions that match with the color yellow. It could be whatever you want. It can be a thing, like a physical material item. It could be abundance. It could be you want to feel more love, you know, whatever it is. Think on something that you want to bring into your life. Pause this video if you need a little more time to think about it. And we're just going to place our hands in a safe hold. So one on your heart, one over the belly button region, and kind of press down a little bit, not too hard. You don't want to suffocate yourself, but just like a gentle firmness that it creates this really beautiful safe hold within the self. And we're just going to take one deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we're going to inhale shorter and exhale longer. So I usually go inhale for 5 seconds, out for 7, but do what feels comfortable for you. And we're just going to focus on that intention. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take my enchanted lighter and we are going to light this baby up and get our intentions going out there into the universe. That's how they come back to us. So basically this candle acts as like a almost like an offering to the universe. You can also get messages from the candle wicks themselves, from the flame. I wasn't planning on doing candle flame divination today. This was more of just like offerings and giving you a still opportunity to breathe with yourself and think about what it is that you desire. So we're going to go ahead and put this up in the corner of the reading so that we can still see it, see if any messages come through. Just so we can still keep our eyes on it. But let's go ahead and get into the cards now. All right, pile number 1. So at the top of this reading for you, we have grieving, spirit guide, and trust the universe. So in terms of what kind of path you are on, if you are on the right one, what is closing, what is opening, I feel that outright, there is a grieving that needs to happen for the doors and opportunities that we did not take or we did not quote unquote succeed at. I feel like there's a past version of yourself that is kind of running around that feels guilty for not achieving something that you originally set out to do. Like maybe you're somebody that's in college and you want to change your major or you want to totally drop out. And this to me is the energy of making that big decision for yourself and deciding just to rely on trusting the universe to catch you. So we have, let me actually read this. It says, intuition has wandered and led, sorry, I need this closer. I cannot see that. Intuition has wandered and led you astray. The timing's not yours, but the universe at play. Have faith and breathe. So what I think is so interesting about this card in particular is that it literally came paired with spirit guides. And with spirit guides, this is also a call to trusting divinity, to being more open to receiving divine guidance on where you're supposed to be headed and what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. So we're going to keep talking about these cards, but I just want to pull up some of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot cards to give us more information. So we have the Emperor. We have the Eight of Cups. Everything is fine with the 10 of Swords and the 7 of Swords. Okay, I see what this is. You feel like there is some kind of self-betrayal going on. I feel like there is this definite like letdown of the self with grieving. I feel like there's definitely something that you feel like you should be over or it should have already been done with or dealt with, and you're upset with yourself for having feelings. And let me tell you something. When we do not honor the way that we feel, this is how these things cycle back up. And you will deal with the grief for years and years and years and years and years, instead of, because you have kept like avoiding it or not listening to it or slowing down to pay attention to it. Pain demands to be felt. And I think that is a quote from John Green in The Fault in Our Stars. But pain demands to be felt. And we genuinely cannot avoid it. It will come up somewhere. And with the Seven of Swords and everything is fine, I feel like you are not fine. You are actually really dealing with a lot of emotional adversity right now. And it's been difficult for you to deal with the pain. And this could be just like pain of situations in your life, or like I said, pain of self-sabotage, of feeling like you don't know how to take control of your situation. And you've been telling yourself everything's fine, everything's fine. And kind of like, I get the image of like numbing out and pretending everything is okay when frankly it's not. And you're wanting more from life. You're wanting more from yourself. And I feel like you have really crested up into this, like, there has to be more though, right? Like, this can't just be it, is what I'm hearing. And the Seven of Swords says that like you've tried maybe coming at whatever this opportunity, this path in your life, you've tried coming at it from multiple ways. Like this even could get into like your own health and trying to take control of it. You've tried multiple avenues to quote unquote get healthy, whatever that looks like for you, or straightening out relationships, or it's like you've tried to do something good for yourself so many times that you just want to give up at this point. And the path that you're on right now is you're tired. You don't want to keep going. You don't want to keep journeying. You don't want to keep trying over and over. You're tired. You're tired. And I think it's really important to lean into that grief. And it sucks. It's not something anybody wants to do. Leaning into grief feels like sometimes it will overtake us and we will just be lost to the storm, and you won't. Letting grief kind of overtake you actually leads to usually like the most beautiful rainbow, right? If it's a storm, it's the most beautiful rainbow at the end. And we even have like rainbow archways in the imagery behind this grief. It's where the ultimate transformation can happen. And there's even a butterfly in this image. Butterflies also represent deep transformation because that's their whole life stages. Like they go from the caterpillar, literally turn into goo, and then come out a butterfly. And I feel like that's where you are right now. You're the goo, okay? You're in and I've been there, so I know how hard that shit is. Like you're in the goo, and that's okay. It's okay to just be goo for a little bit. It's okay. Give yourself permission to be there. And with trust in the universe, like, don't get me wrong, I do think that I feel like I kind of live in the shaded gray area. You could call me a shady bitch if you want. Like, I kind of live in the shaded gray area where I think in some ways everything has a significance and everything has meaning. But I also think sometimes we are just served like a shit cake with shit icing and that's the end of it. Like it doesn't have to have some like astronomical cosmological meaning for it to be held up higher in our life or making it like seem beautiful later in a metaphor. I think it can be both things sometimes. Like I kind of ride that very thin line. And I think for you, it's not time to turn the grief into positivity. It's not time for you yet to, and I think that's maybe what you've been trying to do, is turn your sadness into this positive story that can help other people, but you're not there yet yourself. And it doesn't mean you have to become this master or this expert on it in order to become that person. It just means that maybe you yourself need to find that joy and happiness and that love from within before you can start giving it to anybody else. And with trust in the universe, spirit guide, this is asking you to call in divine help. There is definitely a masculine spirit guide. This could actually be in the form of an archangel. If you've ever felt called to any of the archangels, it might be some time to research some of them. I really loved Gabrielle Bernstein's book, Super Attractor. She talked a lot about archangels in that book and how to contact them. And I feel like it was like an easy read. It was an easy way to start looking into it. I liked her book for that. It felt very like non-abrasive, and you didn't have to do like 10 rituals to get there. It was just like, hey, here's a really simple way to open yourself up. And I feel like for you, there's definitely a very masculine presence. There could even be like an Egyptian deity I'm seeing, because we have the Ankh present here. I feel like it could be that, or it could even be just like a lost male figure in your life, a grandparent even, or a great grandparent, a brother. It's definitely a masculine force though. Like, that doesn't mean that they had to be male. Like, they could have just had a lot of masculine energy if it was a past somebody. But I feel like there is a spirit guide that really wants you to trust them right now and ask them for help, because you really are going to have to walk away from the life that you were previously living to fully move into this new path and this new way of doing things. And you're going to need that divine support to make that choice, because the Eight of Cups tells me that you're going on a journey. We also have for you the last quarter moon in Gemini. And we have for you the first quarter moon in Scorpio. So the last quarter moon in Gemini says clear your mind. The first quarter moon in Scorpio says release your blocks. So with last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind. This is in order for you to like get onto the path that you are wanting to move towards, or even just finding a path. Maybe you feel like you just don't even have one, is almost the energy that I feel here. Your mind is a cluttered mess right now. Swords always talk about our mental intellect, and you got a couple of doozies over here. Like, your mental mind is like running circles and laps around you, and it's very hard for you right now to see beyond grief, to see beyond, like, you're tired, and even mentally you just feel frayed at the ends. Like, it's really hard for you to tap into the spirit realm because of that. It's not a block. I don't believe that blocks are even real. Like, we block ourselves, and we always have the ability, at least like blocks that, like spiritual blocks, put it that way. I don't mean that like things can't happen in our life that stop us from doing things, but I feel like spiritual blocks to me are not real. Like, yes, we can feel disconnected at times, but there is always something that is being called attention to. And with this clear your mind, I'm feeling this like really foreign energy of fear. It's this, and I'm saying it's foreign because I know it's not mine. It's one of y'all's. There is this fear of, if I sit down and actually give myself the space to clear my mind or to be present, it's not going to work. And then I'm really going to be screwed. Like, it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. I'm not going to be fixed. And first of all, you don't need to be fixed because you're not inherently broken. Remember that. You are not broken, and you don't need to be an expert at everything tomorrow in order for your pathway to open up for you. Making that space to clear your mind, even if it's 5 minutes a day, it's coming to that practice every day, even when you don't want to, that hones that skill and allows you to find that inner peace that you're desperately seeking. With the first quarter moon in Scorpio, release your blocks. This is why I said, like, I don't even believe inherently that we have spiritual blocks. I think that that is something that it often is just calling us towards a different direction. And this is embracing that energy, embracing that you are not inherently blocked. It's not, I have to remove this thing, and this thing from my life before it can be better, before I can get on track and get my shit together, which I don't even like that phrase, get my shit together. I feel like unless you're saying it to yourself, I guess that's one thing. But if somebody else tells you to get your shit together, like, never listen to them. They don't know your shit. Only you know it. But this is like, I feel like you think that you have to have everything figured out in order to start, or in order to start moving or going in the direction that you want. You have to sit and like analytically have it structured, and you don't. It's okay to walk in the darkness. It's scary and it sucks, but you can take things with you. Take a torch with you. Take a candle with you. Take your power animal with you. You know, you don't have to go in there by yourself. And talk to somebody that feels very supportive, a friend, a trusted family member, an animal, a journal. If you feel like you don't have anybody, a journal is a great place to unload. But I would encourage you to pick up some kind of a practice that honors that for your path, because ultimately, I don't sense that you are on the path that you want. I don't think we are ever not on our path, because every step is part of our path no matter what. But I get the sense that you are not happy with the way that your path is going. And you are the only person that's going to be able to change it. There's nobody that's going to swoop in and change it for you. You are the one that is going to have to start dedicating to yourself. It's not about money or materialism or doing anything that's outside of you. Spirit is ultimately saying that it is all things that are within. It is all going within and having the inner journey and relying on Spirit to deliver. So we also have for you the card of awakening. And it says energetic upgrades, a new way of being, and integration. So if you feel like your soul or spirit has just been screaming lately or hurting, or you've been on like a hamster wheel, I feel like right now, I hesitate to say it because I also feel like this is why I'm so rooted in psychology as well, because I feel like I like to believe that I am head in the clouds, feet on the ground. And I think sometimes we get very not we as in you, but like the collective sometimes gets very head in the clouds, feet in the clouds. And kind of like this picture, which there's nothing wrong with believing in spirituality in the way that you do. It's all up to the person and it's your own thing. I would never try to take that away from somebody else. But I do feel like sometimes in spirituality, there is this like spiritual bypassing and not wanting to work with the self or accept where there might be things that hold us back and that we can just blink and everything will be so easy. It's the darker aspect too. It's not all just love and light and beautiful. And, it's awakening process is the awakening process is actually very brutal. Like it's not this like, I'm going to walk into this enchanted fairyland and now it's all going to be better. It's usually undoing a lot of past conditioning. It's working in meditation. It's having like crying sessions. It's doing past life regression. It's doing, this is like not everything. Like you could choose to do any one of these things or all of these things. I'm just spitballing here, throwing things out there, but it's a lot of things accumulated into one. It's not just this big, beautiful, everything is sunshine. It's actually both a mixture of those beautiful moments and those dark aspects. Kind of like how the divine feminine is always portrayed as like love and light, when we forget about like Kloee and we forget about Lilith and the dark representation of the feminine as well. It's both. And I feel like with awakening here, yes, the things that you have been experiencing are calling you to yourself. Ultimately, that's what's happening, is you're being called to the path of yourself. And it's not only asking, you're getting to a point where you are being forced into a new way of being, because the way that you've been doing things isn't making you happy. That's maybe why you were drawn to this pile and this door and this candle, which I know you didn't know about the candle, but I feel like intuitively you might have. It's the candle for happiness and personal power. I just get the sense that you haven't been happy, but you're also afraid to rely on divinity for guidance. And ultimately, until you start to hone that practice and allow that in, whatever that looks like, it doesn't mean you have to believe in God. It doesn't mean you have to believe in spirit guides. It doesn't mean you have to believe in archangels. Spirituality is so deeply personal and everybody experiences it in some form. It's part of one of like the key elements that make us up. So it's whatever that looks like for you and what you feel drawn to, go towards it, step towards it. And lastly, I have for you the card of light, which is funny because I just sat here and talked about darkness, and here we are with light. It says, hope is but a word casting casting the unseen. Let there be light where light is but a dream. Wow, that's powerful. I actually want to read, this is a newer deck to me. This one comes from the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle, which we're coming up on the Yuletide season. And I'm going to read from this one because this deck is so new to me. I've barely used it. I don't really know all of the cards yet. So we're going to read this one from the book that just comes with the cards. I'm looking for card number 20. 19, 20. Okay. So the book says, and I will link all the cards that I've used here down below for you. Keywords: hope, return of light. Hope is not, oh wait, I already read that part. If there is one theme you should know about Yule, it's light. The entire celebration of Yule is an honoring of faith in warmer days to come. Oh, I'm gonna cry. There's always light after the darkness, and spring will always come after winter. No matter how difficult your situation, know that things will work out. Light is a dynamic card, and when you have drawn it, you can expect an increase in your energy. You're feeling more confident these days, and you're likely to see an increase in your motivation and overall vitality. This is a happy card and a positive sign of success. Pulling the light card is like getting a big yes from the universe. You can expect a positive resolution when the card comes to a reading. Additionally, pulling light is a sign of abundance, an increase in all areas of your life. You may see an increase in your finances, such as a raise or an unexpected financial windfall. In love, this card is a positive sign of a new marriage. You might receive a promising job offer or a clarity in a job change when it comes to career. Something positive is on its way when light shines on your reading. And I want to point out to you that this was on page number 77, which 77 is like a lucky angel number as well. So, oh, sorry, I got a little teary-eyed there. Ultimately, trust this path. Trust where you're going. Trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Trust divine guidance. If that's all that you have right now to go off of, trust. That is the number one thing you can give to yourself right now. And I would highly encourage that you look more into the realm of self-trust and how to start cultivating it so that you can have trust in divinity, trust in making decisions for yourself. Because really what I'm seeing is this is a lack of self-trust and being so fearful of the path ahead. And you are so beautifully guided. That's why you're here listening to this reading, because you needed that reaffirmed to you that you are guided. I mean, even when I pulled this card of light, I immediately got like, these are all ancestors that came before you, holding candles out for you, that are guiding the way forward because you're here to succeed them, right? I don't mean like succeed them better or higher or what have you, like it's a hierarchy thing. It's a, like they were waiting for you to come in so that they could guide you to continue to carry on into your own path. And I'm also hearing from spirit that ancestor work might be a good one for you right now, especially during this time of the year where like we just had Samhain or Halloween, where the veil is very thin on All Hallows Eve and on Halloween Day. So I don't know about y'all, but I definitely had a lot of ancestral stuff come through during that time. And I feel like that energy is still here. So it might be a good time to connect with your ancestors as well. So that is what I have for you, pile number one. I'm going to let this candle burn out for y'all so you can expect whatever you set intention for to come back. And please do not forget to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor. I have my Patreon link down below if you want some extra content. And if you feel called to do so, it is never an expectation, but certainly always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, my Venmo, and my PayPal listed down below. If you would like to donate to me for my reading, leave me a tip. Everything goes back into the channel for new cards, new crystals, new camera equipment, anything that really like helps to build up the content that we make here so we can make it better. That's where I put all of that, unless you tell me otherwise, which some people, when they leave a little note, they will tell me like, go get a coffee, which I think is really sweet. But unless you tell me otherwise, it always gets put back into the channel. And I certainly appreciate it. But again, not an expectation. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. Surprise. For those of you that are long-term subscribers, we're doing intention candles today. I didn't want to do candle choices. I just wanted to put a candle with each reading, and basically whatever you chose card-wise, you would just get a candle with that. So today's candle in pile number 2 is a red candle. Red is the ignition of passion. So if you feel like your life has been passionless, whether it is in a creative pursuit or in a romantic pursuit, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's just like the reigniting of passion. However, you can choose to set intention for whatever it is that you want. It doesn't have to be about passion, but the important thing is that you set an intention with this candle today, because whatever you set intention for, we are offering this candle up to the universe kind of as like a offering so that we can receive that intention back, that manifestation back. So go ahead and place one hand, your left hand, or excuse me, your right hand over your heart, your left over your belly button region or your sacral chakra area. And we're just going to take one big deep breath in through the nose for a count of 5, out through the mouth for a count of 7. And I want you to focus on that intention. You could pause the video if you need a moment to decide what that intention is. And you can also pause the video and breathe into this multiple times. We're just going to do one breath together. So here we go. All right, now we're going to take our enchanted lighter and we're just going to give this a red candle a light. I'm not planning to do candle divination today unless it comes through, but really it was just more of an offering out to the universe today. So beautiful, beautiful. I love how that flame just really picked back up right there. So I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side. We may get candle messages. If we do, I will definitely point them out during the reading, or you might see some significance there for yourself, but let's go ahead and get into the reading. All right, pile number 2. So for you, we have starting out the card transformation, empowerment, and then intuition. And this intuition card is the door card that we had. And it says, simple, complex words of pain or words that heal. You came to know truth the way that it feels. So just kind of a little poem about intuition. And I feel like for you, in terms of your path right now, I actually think you are on a good trajectory. You are on the right path. And like, I say that because we have transformation, which we are, if you're watching this video as it is going out current, we are in Scorpio season. So it makes a heck of a lot of sense to me that we would see this transformation coming out, because Scorpio is the sign of transformation. And I feel like many of you have actually been heeding to your intuition, and you have been allowing yourself to sit in this transformative energy, and you've allowed it to empower you. And if you aren't feeling the empowerment yet, I would say wait until the Taurus full moon, which is coming up here, I think in about a week or so. We have the Taurus full moon coming up. I feel, and granted, if you're watching this after Scorpio season, I would say like just when that next full moon comes, because I do believe that my readings are also timeless and you can listen to them well after they have been put out. But empowerment is really what we're moving towards. So I would say right off the top of the reading, yes, you are on the right path. Yes, you are on a good trajectory right now. And I think you've really been doing the work on yourself and opening yourself up to more of yourself, which is great. So we have the Hanged One. We have the Lovers. We have the Chariot and the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, it's beautiful energy. I love to see it. So, and if you want any of these cards, I link all the decks in the order that they appear down below. But for these 4 cards and how they connect to those top 3 cards, I feel that number 1 with the Hanged One, this is more about you actually being very in balance with yourself and being very, like, usually the Hanged One can be like being on a brief pause, but I think for you, This pause is really well welcomed. You're happy to do it. It's actually filling you with more feelings of, like, dare I say, enlightenment? Like, it's been a good thing for you. The Chariot, though, and the Hanged One coming together, I feel like you are ready to start taking some more action on your path. You're at a point where you're feeling very fulfilled and you are ready to go into precise action on the things that you desire and dream up. And I personally really love that for this reading. I think also with the Lovers, if you'll notice, we have a figure here and then a darker figure here. And this, to me, the Lovers can talk about relationships, but to me, I always read the Lovers as us embracing our shadow self, embracing the aspect of ourself that is hidden away or cast away, or we've been made to believe isn't a valuable part of us that should be shown or should be embraced by us. And I feel like for you, you're actually finding a lot of self-empowerment through releasing that idea that any part of you shouldn't be just as valuable as another part. Let me take a drink of my drink really quick here. I feel like as tarot card readers, sometimes we forget to hydrate our voices as much as we should be. And then the Queen of Pentacles, I love the Queen of Pentacles. Probably my favorite queen in the entire deck out of all the queens, because she is a master at self-care, but also she's like basically managing like wealth, finances, at-home businesses. She's a really master at her craft of like career as well as family, or emotions as well as intellect. Actually, I don't know that I would say intellect. That's more like Queen of Swords vibes, but I do feel like she strikes this really intricate and beautiful balance of making a really beautiful life and tending to herself so that she can thrive. So I feel like for you, that's the path you're on. You might even be feeling those vibes right now. And I'm really delighted to hear that and see that and feel that from you. I feel also with the Lovers and the Chariot, I just want to point out that there is a lot of duality in these two cards. Meaning the Chariot, we have the Sphinx being presented here, a white one and a black one. We have the Lovers, the two figures here. And to me, this is also just another mirror image of that shadow self, and that we need the light aspect and the dark aspect of ourselves in order to be who we came here to be on the path that we want to be on. And Spirit is ultimately confirming to you that yes, this is exactly where you are supposed to be right now. And that, like, even if you're in a place that feels very, I don't think that y'all are there. Like, pile number one, we talked about the life cycles of the butterfly, right? How it's the caterpillar, and then you go into the goo, and then you come out the butterfly, right? But I feel like for you, you are at that point where even when the butterfly is coming out of the cocoon, it has to struggle its way out. And if you help a butterfly out of its cocoon, it actually won't fly. It has to build strength in emerging on its own. And I feel like for you, you've done that. You've done this like strength building exercise. You have really gotten in there and done the personal work and worked on your shadow self. And you are so much farther along than I think you even could have imagined or realized. And I want you to literally right now take your arms. This might sound so corny, but just do it for me, okay? Or do it for yourself, rather. I want you just to give yourself a hug. Like, wrap your arms around yourself and just appreciate the vessel that has carried you to this moment. Appreciate this time and space where you are and how much you've allowed yourself to grow to be here, because you have done the most. And it has not been easy. It has not been an easy road. And you did that. You pulled yourself out as the butterfly. You brought yourself to new heights so that you could soar. And I feel like that has been through a lot of consistent work. So, like, really be proud of yourself and embrace that. We also have for you last quarter moon in Pisces, talk less, feel more. And we have new moon in Cancer, relax. So I feel like both of these cards are extremely in their feelings, okay? Now, granted, New Moon in Cancer says relax, but Cancer is also a very, like, these are two water signs, okay? Cancer and Pisces. And with both of these, I feel like you are being asked to just like sit in awe of yourself a little bit more, to allow yourself to look at the world around you that is shaping into this reality that you've made. And maybe even some of you, if you can get by a body of water, I would highly encourage that activity. I think getting close to the element of water right now would be a really good practice for you. Even if you just want to take like a really slow, good shower, that would do it. Or if you have a bath, take a really nice bath. And not like, don't get me wrong, I think intention baths are so valuable. But I feel like sometimes you just need to take a good soak for yourself and not make it about this big magical ritual and not make it a cleansing thing. Like sometimes you just need a bath for you. For you could have the intention of self-love and honoring yourself. But again, I feel like, don't get me wrong, I love spirituality. I love the like new spirituality wave that a lot of people are on. I'm very here for it. But I also think sometimes I'm getting this like download of, we think that we always have to be on and doing something to better ourselves. And you've done a lot. It's actually time for you to just sit and marvel at who you've become in this path that you're on right now. So if you decide to take a bath, you can do whatever you feel called to do. If you have the energy for that ritual style, then go for it. But I would encourage you just to take that bath with the intention of just doing something good for yourself instead of like it having to mean something else. Does that make sense? Like I said, obviously do whatever you feel called to, but I think that you really have done a lot and your spiritual team is extremely proud, and like they want you not to even care. Like that's what I'm hearing from spirit. They don't even want you to care right now about them being proud. They want you to notice how proud you should be of yourself. And because you have done this. So we also have for you, get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. So you might also find that you are somebody that is an empath or is highly sensitive. And maybe this is something that you've really uncovered in your path right now of this self-transformation. And also those of you that you're like, Kloee, this is not me. I don't think it's a lot of you because I'm not getting an overwhelming feeling. But some of you are like, Kloee, this is not me. I do not feel this way about myself. This is the path that is opening for you, is this big self-transformation and your ability to go into it. But get grounded. I feel like, yes, commune with water, but also commune with earth, commune with like getting your feet out on the ground. I saw the coolest TikTok, like this was several months ago. I want to say the account is called like Get Lost, Get Found or something. And she always talks about grounding, and people are always in her comments like, but it's cold, there's ice outside, blah, blah, blah. She literally did a TikTok where she walked outside on the ice with her bare feet. And she was like, listen, I don't care. Go outside. And granted, I feel like even that we can make more exceptions. Like maybe there are some people that are in a wheelchair that can't just put their feet on the bare earth. There's so many ways to connect with earth. Even if you just want to go and sit outside or sit by a window or listen to nature sounds, there is something for everybody to get that sensory experience of earth. So you don't necessarily have to go out and walk on ice, but there is something for everybody. Just think about the sensory experience you would like to have or what calls to you the most. Like, for example, I am very clairaudient. My ears are extremely sensitive, and that's where I get a lot of my information, like psychically. And like I hear things and I experience music in a very like highly sensitive way as well. And so for me, maybe it's not going outside and putting my feet on the earth. For me, maybe just sitting and listening to bird sounds or like The sound of like deep drums as well, I feel like is very earth energy. Just having that ability to connect to nature in that way, or like tree rustling, or, obviously that's a lot of air energy as well, but there's a different sensory experience for everyone. You feel me? Like maybe you're into like psychic tasting. So you want to eat root vegetables, get that earth sensory feeling. Or maybe you do have clear touch. I don't know what that one's called, but like by touching objects. And that would be the person that probably should ground. Now, don't get me wrong. I think grounding on bare earth is good for everybody if you are able to do it. I'm just giving you some ideas. And I feel like sometimes it can be difficult to remember how exclusive certain things are. And that's something I always want to bring to my content is, as a disabled woman, not every yoga stretch I can do, not every even meditation works for me for one reason or another. And I feel like the more we can remind ourselves that these practices are for everybody, we just have to find the ones that work for us. And then, sorry, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. The last card I have for you is Turning Inward. And we're going to read the book on this one because this is a newer deck. I've only used it a couple of times and I'm not super familiar with all the cards. But this one says, inside the veil of bone and flesh, I lay my soul to sleep. All the truths within thy breath have come to greet me. So this is kind of a spooky looking card, but you know what? It's not spooky because I feel like that's just my own conditioning coming out of like, oh, scary. It's not scary. Okay, I'm just pulling the book open to find number 40. Here we go. So, number 40, there is a new, more enlightened version of yourself that is waiting to be discovered. The new you has learned and grown over the years, so much so, I got the chills, that you may not feel as aligned as your previous goals. Dreams can and will often shift and change with time. Your task is to remain connected to your inner landscape, the part of you that always knows what you need in any given moment. Your inner self will help you to discover new talents, intentions, beliefs, and they will better serve you as you continue on this journey. This message is amplified for you if you have also pulled the ceremony card, which we did not. Turning inward brings an additional message. You may be holding on too tightly to an outdated idea of what your life should be. There are many different ways to experience success. Do not allow others or social conditioning to dictate what is right for you. Being connected to your innermost authentic being helps you to develop a better sense of self. You will be better prepared to defend your choices when you know your worth and who you are on the most fundamental level. So I feel like this is what you've done. But also, this is a call on your path, and a door that is opening for you is to ask yourself what you want to move towards next. Because I think the previous version of yourself isn't as in alignment with who you are now. And you need to ask yourself, how do you want to live every day? What do you want your life to look like? If money didn't matter, if family ties weren't in the way, if you had whatever you felt like you needed to progress farther, how would you spend your days? What would you do for 99.9% of the time? And build your life around that concept. So I feel like there's maybe some outdated stuff that still needs to go. And that's why you're being called to talk less, feel more, connect with water, connect with the earth, connect with the elements, and really listen to yourself, because you've made it this far, but there's just a little more to go. So good job. And, that is what I have for you, pile number 2. Don't forget to claim your blessing here. I will let that burn down all the way for you off camera. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor, my podcast, where you can listen to it everywhere across all platforms. It's authentic and unapologetic. Links for everywhere down below, Apple, Spotify, etc. If you would like to tip me, it is not an expectation, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below for you. Readings or tips for readings are not required in the slightest, but I do pour that money back into decks, cards, crystals, candles, camera equipment, anything that helps us to bring more quality content to the channel. So those of you that do that, I certainly appreciate it. But again, it's not an expectation. If you are wanting to continue to support my work, however, and you want more content for yourself or something extra for you, I also have my Patreon where you can get exclusive readings, early access to my readings, weekly energy updates, journal prompts, and bonus content. It's all over there for you. Link for that is down below as well. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I love you so much, Pumpkin, and I'll talk to you again soon. All right, pile number 3, surprise. We're doing intention candles today. If you are a longtime subscriber, then you already know what this is about. But before we jump into your reading, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an intention candle moment. So your pile corresponds to the blue candle. Blue candle is for emotional regularity, the element of water, connecting. I would say because the waters of us are linked to like psychic ability. Purple is definitely the more psychic color, but you could definitely draw a similar kinship here with blue candles. So I just want you to take a moment to think about something you want to bring into your life, be it a person, a place, a thing, a feeling, whatever that looks like for you. You can even pause this video and think on it. And then I want you to take your right hand and place it over your heart, and your left hand and place it over your belly button, where the sacral chakra is, and maybe apply like a light pressure. Nothing crazy. You don't want to hurt yourself here, just very light pressure. It kind of gives you this feeling of safety. And we're going to breathe in for a count of 5 through the nose and out for a count of 7 through the mouth, dropping the jaw. And we're just going to hold that intention. Think about how it would feel to have this thing, this feeling, this emotion. You can do this multiple times if you want to pause the video and breathe like 3 or 4 or 5 times. I'm just going to do it once with you. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, feels so good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take my enchanted lighter, and we are just going to light this. And basically what this does is this sets your intention in motion and allows, it's like we're giving the universe like an offering today. That's what we're really focused on here with the intention candle. I'm not doing candle flame readings today, but if anything should come up during the reading, I will definitely mention it, or you might get some imagery from the flame as well. So I'm just going to put that over there, and let's go ahead and get your cards out. All right. So pile number 3, you have the Talent, Fertility, and Secret Sketches card. So let's read that Secret Sketches first, because that was the actual door card. And it says, wander and seek the familiar and friendly kind. Draw, what does that say? Draw memories in sketches for others to find. So I feel like this is really about creating talent. I've said this before in other readings that talent actually is not real. Like nobody is born talented. And Mozart is a great example of this. I think I talked about this in another reading recently on the channel. It might have been in this reading, one of the piles, or in last week's reading. But basically, like even Mozart was not necessarily talented naturally. He was put into piano extremely early, and there was expectation on him, and that made him like, I'm not saying people can't have natural affinities towards things, but often talent is something that we make for ourselves. And when we meet something that we are doing with passion because it lights us up, we have a more natural affinity towards it, but it doesn't mean that we actually have a gift or that we're talented. We build that over time. And so I feel like, especially with the fertility card here, and in terms of the path that you are on right now, I feel like right now something is asking to be birthed from you. Now, this doesn't mean a human. That's definitely not the vibe that I'm getting. But this is more about birthing a creation into being. So especially my artists, my musicians, my writers, my content creators, This is definitely your pile if you feel called to something in that realm. And I just got the chills because this really is like the creatives pile. You need to start putting your work out there. That's the path that you need to move towards. So if you've already been doing it, awesome. You're doing a great job. But if you haven't, this is where it's time. You are like ripe with fertility. It's time for you to start creating things so that they can go out into the world. So this is like if you're wanting to launch that YouTube channel, this is making the content. No more researching, just making. This is writing that symphony. This is taking and signing up for that piano class, in listing, in meeting with a vocal coach. This is going to be taking a creative writing course or just starting to plot your book out. Whatever that looks like for you. This is a deeply creative reading, I can already tell. And right now, like I said, if you're taking steps toward that, great. You're definitely on the right path. If you're not, and you don't feel inherently like you are pursuing something creative, this is really the call that even if you don't end up in like a creative field or something, it doesn't have to be career. I think a lot of people think that if you get into the creative realm, your creativity has to be monetized. It doesn't. You can create just because it's fun and because it makes you feel good. And that's really the path that you are being asked to open up to more right now, is creating from a place of love and gratitude and self-acceptance and self-expression, and allowing your energy to burst forth from you. Because that fertility card, if you notice, I don't know how well the camera picks it up here, but we kind of have this like shimmering glow coming out from the center of this woman, and she is very much allowing it to come out. There is no grasping or holding or keeping in or hiding. Same with the talent card. It's this woman in a very beautiful, elegant pose that is definitely allowing for energy to be received instead of holding it in. So this is definitely about sharing of yourself, the things that maybe you would normally keep to yourself. And you don't have to do it in a way that makes people know who you are. You can start in like an anonymous Instagram or something. It doesn't have to be photos of you. It could be snippets of your writing. It could be pictures that you've made. It's time to just share a little bit more of yourself. And then we have for you the Seven of Cups, the Two of Swords, Justice, and the Queen of Cups. Ooh, a lot of cup energy with the 2 cup cards, but also I feel like there is this, like, the Seven of Cups is giving me very overwhelmed, overstimulated energy. It's giving me the vibes of like, I have so many things to choose from. Like, you just want to create everything. Like, you want to start a channel and start a podcast and paint pictures and work in pastels and learn watercolor and sing. Like, you want to do a lot of things. And there is nothing wrong with that. I actually think some of the best people in the world are interested in a myriad of things. I think it's really weird that we as a society have decided that everybody should niche down and only do one thing. It's very important for you to create a lot of things. You might even find that you are somebody, if you've ever looked at your human design chart, which is not like an astrology chart, but I think it includes astrology in some way. You can get a free one, a human design chart. I can't remember a website for it, but I'm sure if you just looked up like free human design, you could get your human design chart. But you might even be a generator or a manifesting generator. Those are different types. I'm a generator, which means, so if you relate to this, I'll just explain it to you a little bit. If you are a generator, generators are people that need complete creative freedom to create to their heart's content, and also take huge periods of rest where they do not feel inspired to create. And you need to find a way of balancing that if you're a generator. Otherwise, you get into this state of overwhelm. And it's very important for you to follow your passion and to do what lights you up in the moment that it lights you up, because that's how the most beautiful things are made from you. And the Two of Swords, though, I find really interesting here as far as your path, because the Two of Swords says that you do need to make some choices. You cannot do it all. If you try to do it all, you're going to burn yourself out and you are not going to be filling up your own cup. So you are going to have to cut some things off. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't ever come back to them. You just need to make a decision maybe on a couple of projects versus like 8 projects. I feel like often you're somebody that maybe gets very looped into that. You feel like you just take on a lot, and generators often do that, especially if you're a generator. But again, it doesn't mean that you have to be a generator to feel this way. But I'm really sensing that you take on a lot of things because you have this belief that you enjoy having your hands in everything, which is true to a degree, but not when it starts to overwhelm you. So it's really important for you just to pick a few things right now. That's really going to honor your path forward right now. Then with Justice and the Queen of Cups, Justice also, it talks a lot about like balance and harmony, and also like things ruling in your favor. So if there's something that you've been wanting to put out into the world, this to me is very favorable of that doing well. It's a success card to me in this state with the surrounding cards. And the Queen of Cups, this is going to be the card that tells us that, again, follow your intuition, follow passion's lead here, because the Queen of Cups in particular gets all of her power and magic from the waters and the cup. If you notice, she's staring directly at the cup. She's not staring out into the horizon. She's not focusing her energy elsewhere. And the cup is very resemblant of our intuition, our waters, our blood, our, you could even say like it, obviously not everybody, but for some of you, it also resembles the womb space, the divine feminine. And now the divine feminine is for everybody, as is the divine masculine, but the womb space is what I was getting at. It could resemble that space of creation, which also everybody has a sacral chakra center, and that is in that same region. So it's very focused there on this deep creative pursuit, but it's very intuitive in nature and just taking action based off of intuition alone. So if you're not used to doing that, this is really a call to your path to immerse yourself in intuitive practices, in just asking yourself what sounds good for you on any given day, that you have the space to do so, and then following that and doing that thing and creating that thing. And that is going to ultimately lead you down the path of success. So we also have for you full moon in Pisces, forgiveness. And we have first quarter moon in Aquarius, trust the universe. Okay, y'all that really struggle with intuition, the cards are yelling at you. They're yelling at you to be more invested in your intuition. I'm laughing because it's just coming out multiple times here in this reading. But full moon in Pisces, forgive. This to me is a lot about forgiving yourself. It could be forgiving others as well. Maybe there's some people that have really wanted to stamp out your path or stamp out your dreams, or maybe there are certain things you've really had to wait to pursue because of somebody else, or like you didn't pursue for so long because you didn't feel noticed or appreciated. And I feel like with full moon in Pisces, this is about forgiving others, but it's also forgiving yourself for listening to that person, for not allowing yourself the space to give to yourself in that way that is clearly screaming out. And with first quarter moon Aquarius, trust the universe. This again is back on that deep intuition from the Queen of Cups. This is following yourself, following your passion, and allowing yourself just to put one foot in front of the other instead of feeling like you have to have it all sorted out before you can even begin. And those of you that have a lot of Virgo placements, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know how hard it is for you. It's very hard to not think critically and analytically before you act. That can be one of the hardest things for you to do, is to tap into this. And Virgos are highly intuitive. I think every sign has the ability to be highly intuitive. It is a human gift. or a spiritual gift, you could even say, that we humans all possess. But I do feel like Virgo tends to get a little more in their head sometimes. So if you have a lot of Virgo placements in your chart, like that could be something that is, I don't know why so much astrology is coming out. One of your hidden talents or something that you need to hone more. And when I say hidden talent, again, talent isn't a real thing. I say hidden talent, and what I should be saying is like a hidden inspiration. You maybe feel really drawn to astrology, and that's why this keeps coming out, talking about like human design, astrology. Those are things that maybe you really want to get into, and you have the ability to be excellent at doing them and learning them and teaching them. But you have to give yourself the space to create with them, to learn about them, and to hone that gift. That's how everybody is. I don't think, and I will stand corrected if I'm wrong here, I don't think anybody is naturally just good at astrology or good at human design or good at numerology or good at witchcraft. Like, don't get me wrong, there are certain things that if we feel really inspired and called towards something, our intuition can lead us, but it takes time and dedication to a practice to come into it. And that's what you're missing right now in your path, is really surrendering to some kind of a practice or creative endeavor that honors who you want to be and what you want to learn about. And trusting that the universe will take you on that path if you just follow what it is that really lights you up. Now, we also have for you the card of Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the Oracle, y'all. I like this because I literally was just talking to you about like astrology can be very future predicting, as can human design. Like, not always. A lot of it is just learning about our personality. But if you get to a point in learning about it, you can look at future things that are going to be coming up and how they might apply to your life or the lives of others. So I think it's really cool that we got a card that specifically talks about you being the oracle, you being the person that can use that divine gift. I almost want to pull the book on this one. Where is my deck? I feel like this could be a really, just like a really interesting. I don't often read the book, especially on this deck. I don't use this deck that often either. This is the Work Your Light Oracle deck. It's the first deck that Rebecca Campbell came out with, and she does incredible work. I love Rebecca Campbell. This is just the book that came with the cards. So this one is Pillar of Light. Let's see. Pillar of Light is on page 102. Let's just read about it. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. You are heaven and earth in perfect expression, a conduit for the light of the heavens to the earth. You are the rainbow bridge. Take time to meditate. Imagine yourself as a pillar of light connecting the light of the heavens above with the earth. As the light shines through each of your chakras, you activate the rainbow bridge that many ancient scriptures speak about, raising your vibration and the vibration of the planet, linking the higher realms of the cosmos, guides, angels, and spirit with the ancient wisdom keepers and beings of planet Earth. They dance together through you. They sing through you. Without your body, voice, and creations, neither can be expressed for too long. For too long, you've been taught that God is outside of us, or the universe, or source, giving away our power to angels and spirit guides. But without you, they do not have a voice. You are the oracle. Do not look for guidance outside, for you hold all of the wisdom of the entire universe in the portal of your heart, in every cell of your body. Do not see the angels and guides as above you, for without you, they have no way of communicating. You are the oracle. You are the rainbow bridge. You are the pillar of light. And oh, I have the chills through like my whole body. Like even my head got the tingles that time. So you might want to start enriching yourself in some kind of practice that really honors that, because honestly, I feel like you're being pulled and called towards it. And that really might be a path for you where maybe you become a tarot card reader, maybe you become a speaker, a writer, something creative that it puts you in more of a spiritual alignment. I feel like for your path is definitely coming up. Now, the last card I have for you This is a new deck. I've only used it a couple of times, so we're going to read this one from the book as well. And this is the Darkest Hour, card number 9, and it says, there is a void of the dark. I cannot speak today. Mercury is not even in the microwave. Okay. There, in the void of thy darkness, swells the shadow of the soul, swallowing the wickedness into the blackness of its wholeness. Okay, so we're going to look at the book on this one because I feel like the poems on them are a little cryptic. So we're going to take a look at the book and just see what this is a little bit more about. Okay, we have Light and this again is just the book that came with this deck, which is the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. Again, I will link all of the card decks I used today down below for you. Light and darkness go hand in hand. Just as the day turns into night, the soul must also go through periods of highs and lows. A low is called the dark night of the soul, a period where you feel lost, confused, and removed from spirit. Everyone will experience a dark night of the soul at some point, and they will likely experience many over their lifetime. It is common for the darkest night to appear during times of extreme stress and disruption, and while the process isn't pleasant, and you will undoubtedly lose something, things will be for the better when you emerge from the journey. The darkest hour has appeared because you are being asked to examine what is absolutely necessary for joy. Is it money? Is it love? Is it fame or respect? Imagine being free of it. The darkest hour reminds you that material things are not necessary for happiness, that happiness is something that is available to you with or without material success. You may feel as though you have to be where you are, but that isn't true. Is there more? Sometimes they go, oh, this one does. You are being guided to find true happiness within your spirit. Do not be afraid of change and do not be scared to let go. Doing so means you can see the light, even when life feels hopeless. Self-focused happiness provides a guiding light when you are lost in the darkest hour. It will point the way home and help you to recover. So those of you that you feel really lost on your path, in your purpose, on your mission, what you're here to do, and even if that's a multitude of things, as I suspect it might be, this darkness isn't going to last forever. And maybe this whole reading, as I've been talking about talent and purpose and getting into your creativity and getting into your magic, maybe that's been all really disheartening for you because you don't feel like you've been connected to it. And this to me is your spiritual team really calling out to you and saying, it's there for you to access. Even in your darkest moments, it's still there for you to access. And I don't know if you've noticed, but creativity wise, often through those darkest moments of creatives, that's where some of the best work comes out. Think about all of the songs that you've heard that have moved you to tears. Think about the books you've read, the movies you've seen, the things that have been created, that out of the darkness, sometimes the most beauty emerges. And I feel like that might be the path that you're in now. And your guides also want you to know that this darkness won't last forever. You will reconnect with yourself, and that's the path you're on right now. And I ultimately think you're on the right one. Like, you are on the right path right now. You're not lost, even if it feels like you might be. And granted, that only might be some of you that applies to. Some of you really might be all in your power, and you're also on the right path. So thank you so much for tuning in. Pile number 3. Don't forget to claim your blessing here. I will let that burn out for you off camera. And please do not forget to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor. Do not get scammed. I am the only Kloee Taylor that is spelled like this one. KLOEETAYLOR. That is me. No periods, no spaces, no extra letters. That is me. So feel free to follow me. If you would like to tip me for my readings, it is not an expectation, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed for you always. And that really helps me out if you do want to support my channel. I buy all of my crystals, cards, candles, camera equipment, lighting stuff, which lighting I think is next for our videos. And then we've been saving for a camera for a while. So that is like, I'm always trying to take the videos and the content to the next level. So again, never an expectation, but always, always appreciated. And if not, and you want to support the free content that I make here in any other way, I also have my Patreon, which gives you early access to all the videos that you see here, access to bonus content, printables, extra pick of cards that you can't get anywhere else, as well as weekly energy readings for the collective. So if you'd like to check that out, I would certainly love to have you. We have a really tight-knit community there. And please do not forget, when you stand in your authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye, pumpkin.